Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today I want to talk about what to focus on in your first 90 days as a VA. And what you can ignore. And even if you're already in business, this episode will serve as a bit of a reference to you to ensure that you're focusing on the right things for the next 90 days. Today's quote is from Robert Collier, one I've used before, but it really fits this episode. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. When you do the right things every single day, success follows. Let's go. When you're just starting out as a virtual assistant, everything can feel urgent, even overwhelming. You might have a mile-long to-do list, a dozen tabs open in your browser all the time, and your mind might be spinning, trying to figure out what to work on now. It's really easy to fall into the trap of doing all the things all at once, but that is precisely the thing that can slow you right down. So let's walk through what your first 90 days should really look like, or your next 90 days, as the case may be. Because there are just a few things that matter in the early weeks and a whole bunch that can absolutely wait. So let's start with what I see as the biggest mistake that new virtual assistants are making in those first 90 days. They focus on the wrong things. They get caught up in designing a logo, building the perfect website, picking the perfect business name, or creating a bunch of social media posts before they even know what they're offering or who they're offering it to. They worry about brand colors and business cards and catchy taglines instead of focusing on clarity, confidence, and connecting with actual people. I get it. It is easier to sit and play with Canva than it is to pitch yourself to someone and risk them saying no. It feels more productive to work on your website font or copy than it does to build a package and send it out to a real person, right? But that busy work is honestly just a distraction. If you spend your first 90 days on fluff instead of foundation, you're going to lose steam very quickly. So let's break it down. Here is where your focus should really be month by month for the next 3 months. Month number 1, confidence, clarity, building connections. The first month is about finding your footing. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to have all the answers. But what you do need is the confidence to take action, a little bit of clarity around what kind of work you want to do, and the willingness to start having conversations with people. This is the time to really focus on your strengths. Think about what you like doing, what comes naturally to you, and what skills you've picked up on from past jobs, volunteer work, or personal projects. Confidence comes from doing, not waiting until you feel ready. And if you've not done my skills inventory exercise yet, I highly recommend picking that up because it really walks you through that process. Clarity also comes through action. The more you talk to people, the more you'll start to see the patterns in what they need and how you can help them. Building connections is one of the best uses of your time in month 1. Actually, I think it's the best thing to do all the time, but definitely in month 1. You're not looking to sell anybody anything, at least not right away. You're putting yourself out there, starting to show up in entrepreneur groups, not VA groups, joining a networking event, or reconnecting with people that you've worked with before. Let them know you've started a new business and that you're excited about it. When I first started my business, I did all the wrong things, probably all the things that you're doing right now, and it was hard. I didn't talk to a single real person for a long time. I somehow convinced myself that I could hide behind my computer because that's where I worked and the clients would find me. I sent emails, I used job boards, I went to online classified ad sites, and I tried to educate people about filling their position with the VA, me, of course. It was so hard, you guys. I definitely wasn't connecting with the right people, actually any people at all. I got tons of rejection emails. People said no whenever I phoned them. Lots of people just never answered me. I definitely was not connecting. Things only turned around when I started having real conversations with real people. It's so much easier to find people that actually need your services and are aware of or open to working with someone remotely than it is to try to convert the entire corporate world every single day. And that's what I was doing. Over 25 years later, it's still the number one way that I teach VAs to get clients. Talk to business people. This first month is all about movement, getting moving, small steps daily, not perfection, not even polished presentations, just starting to gain momentum. Month 2 is services and pricing and presenting your services. Once you have your footing and you're starting to feel more grounded, more confident, it's time to start building. This second month is where we shift gears into actually shaping your business. You don't have to offer everything under the sun. In fact, it's so much easier when you don't. Start with 1 or 2 services that you know how to do really well and that you enjoy doing and that you know others are looking for help with. Keep things simple. If you're great at scheduling, start with calendar management. If you love writing, offer email or blog support. Pricing is the thing that trips up a lot of new VAs. Don't let that hold you back or slow you down. Start with where you feel comfortable, but commit to revisiting your pricing soon. You're never locked into it. Every new client can pay just a little bit more money as you start to gain confidence. And in fact, part of what you'll learn in month 2 is how long things take you to do and what feels like fair compensation for your time and energy. It's a balance, right? And because our services are based on the time it takes us to do things, especially in the beginning, timing is very important. Work pace is essential. And knowing how long something takes to do is the most important thing that you can do to help yourself out in month 2. Create processes, time the tasks that you do, and then strive to always do them the same way again so that you can duplicate that length of time. Whether you have a portfolio or not, I usually only recommend these for creative businesses like websites or graphics and that kind of thing, but you should have a way to showcase your service offerings for your clients. I often suggest a proposal template that you can send to people after you've had a conversation with them. Something that outlines the scope of work you're going to do for them, the rates that you charge, and basically how you communicate with them and other things like that. Having testimonials is the references of the business world, I like to say. If you can ask people you've worked with before to write something up about how you are to work with, how you've helped them, this can go a long way to increasing your confidence in meetings with potential clients. Seeing somebody else's words talking about how great you are is really awesome. When I first started, I chose my rate out of thin air. Literally, I took the salary I was making at the time and I added $2 for what I considered to be overhead. I didn't even know what overhead was, but $2 was not enough. I didn't know why I was charging what I was charging, so I wasn't able to talk about it confidently to the people that I was having conversations with. And my clients definitely didn't get that confidence from me either, so I often negotiated, or I simply let them tell me how much they would pay me, which obviously I tell you all the time, don't let them do that. Please don't do this. Get really clear and really confident in what services you offer and set your rates properly based on how much money your business needs to make using my rate calculator package. It'll go a long way in you confidently talking about how much it costs to work with you because you'll understand why you charge what you charge, and the client does not get to decide how much they pay you. The client gets to decide their budget for support, and then they ask you how much work they can get done within their budget. But that's for another day. The key this month is to building your service offerings and starting to talk about them. You're not trying to grow your VA business yet, not particularly. You're getting going, working out the bumpy parts, and you're focusing on having conversations that lead to that first client that says yes, or that first great client that says yes. And then the next one, and then the next one. In month 3, we're talking about visibility, marketing, and services clarity. Now that you've got that foundation, you are confident, you've got services nailed down, and you're starting to talk to the right people, it is time to turn up the volume. The third month is where you start getting visible, or more visible. And that doesn't mean you need to be everywhere. Pick 1 or 2 places where your audience hangs out and start showing up there regularly. That might be on LinkedIn, it might be in Facebook groups, maybe Instagram for you or Threads, or just a really solid bunch of emails to people that you know. Marketing at this stage is not about going viral or posting every day. It's about being consistent and being clear. Consistency and clarity. Say what you do, who you do it for, and how people can work with you over and over again. You're going to feel like you're repeating yourself, but that's a good thing. It means it's working. And as you start getting feedback from people, whether it's prospects asking questions or clients giving comments, you're going to get the clarity you need to start to refine your messaging so that you're really making that connection with the people. Maybe you realize one package is too complicated, or a service, or the way you describe it, or that people really love one specific thing that you do. This is a great time to start adjusting and simplify. Everything will always be a work in progress. In this third month, you're going to gain the knowledge and insights you need to get really clear on what you do and who you help best. When I first started marketing, I thought I had to pitch to everyone. Ick, right? Yeah, you might think the same thing. Tracy, how do I get clients if I don't pitch them? It's easy. You show up where they are and you talk about how you help people, and you actually physically help people. When you aren't hard selling all the time, people will actually have a chance to get to know you. The big new trend in marketing is storytelling, and I actually don't think this trend is going anywhere anytime soon. And all it really means is talking about what you do and who you help. Who have you helped before, and how did that help their business, their life, their event, what their bottom line, whatever it is. When you think about those situations where you've helped people, the stories are so simple and clear, and they're true, and they're unique to you. Every interaction that you've had with people before, if you can talk about it, that is unique to you. And that's what people like to hear about. They want to hear who you are. They want to identify with you and start to build trust that you can help them too. When I started implementing more stories into my content and my marketing, it really resonated with people. It resonates with me for the people that I follow, I have so many conversations and interactions from the things that I post, and it leads to clients, and it will for you too. This third month is also where you'll start to see your results. Conversations turning into discovery calls, calls turning into clients. It doesn't need to happen fast, but it will happen if you keep showing up and you keep paying attention, keep listening. And of course, the more conversations you have, the better you're going to get at them too. Practice makes perfect. Now here's where I want to take a moment and say this clearly. You do not need a logo to get a client. You do not need a website. You don't need brand colors, fonts, or professional photos. Are all of those nice to have? Of course. Do you need them eventually? Absolutely. But what you need to get your first clients is clarity, and you need action, and you need conversations. I say this every single day of my life. And the prettiest branding in the world is not going to get you a client if you're not making connections. And your dream client or your ideal client doesn't care what your logo looks like. They care whether you can help them or not. So if you're spending hours fussing with things like a brand board, instead of sending that DM or sending in a proposal, it's time to shift your energy. And I want to give you a simple weekly plan to do that. To keep yourself focused through these 90 days, create a simple weekly rhythm. 1 day a week, review what's working and what's not. Set one main goal for the week, like finalizing a service list, writing up a social media post, or reaching out to 1, 2, 3, 10 people, whatever that number is. Then commit to 5 small actions per week. That's it, 5. That's 1 per day if you're figuring it out. They could be commenting on social media posts, sending emails, updating a service package, practicing asking for a discovery call or making an introduction of yourself, or taking a mini training. Each one should take less than 30 minutes. And when you do this consistently, that's what builds real momentum. You're building towards that weekly goal, right? Early on in my business, I took CJ Hayden's program, Get Clients Now. She focuses on taking daily actions, and I can tell you it works. I still teach the same thing every day now because it works. Lots of people teach it, but it really is important because you focus on one goal every day for those 30 days. I tell VAs all the time, don't try to book in 2 hours on a Sunday night to work on your business. I hear VAs doing this all the time, and I always tell them to stop. Why? Because that means the rest of the week you're not paying attention to it at all. That means you're working on your business only 4 times a month. And if a family event or something else comes up on that Sunday and you end up not doing what you wanted to do for your business, then all momentum is lost, because now it's 2 weeks between business focus. That's not enough. Short daily actions. Keep your business top of mind. Create great habits. Keep your mindset positive and high, and have conversations every single day. Like, log in 20 minutes a day. That's all you need to do. And it's way more effective than the 2 hours on Sunday. It's the best way to create momentum and get you headed in the right direction. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do the right things in order with the intention. So let's circle back to today's quote. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Oh, look, Robert's right. And CJ Hayden is right. And Tracy is right. That's exactly what your first 90 days are about. Or your next 90 days, as the case may be. Not big leaps, not instant results, just steady, thoughtful, messy and imperfect, probably, action every day, every week. And that's how you build something real. That's how you grow. That's how you succeed. I can help you set up that plan. As you know, it's the only reason I'm here at all, is to help you become a ridiculously good virtual assistant. So reach out to me on social media and we can chat. Whichever platform you're on, I'm on. Find me and we can have a chat. Make me one of your daily conversations this week. I'm excited to help you get to where you want to go. And if you do want to work with me, check out all the ways you can do that, from my free stuff to my private coaching options, at yourvamentor.com/links, LINKS. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm Tracy Daviero, the confidence coach for virtual assistants, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.